From the narcissist's perspective, the world is viewed through a highly distorted lens, one in which you are consistently cast as the source of all problems. This belief isn't just a convenient excuse, it's something they often truly believe. It stems from their profound inability to engage in honest self-reflection. This lack of introspective ability makes it virtually impossible for them to examine how their own thoughts, words, and actions may be contributing to the difficulties in the relationship. Because of this inner blindness, they remain completely unaware, or choose to remain unaware, of the glaring hypocrisy in their behavior. They hold you to incredibly high, often unrealistic moral and behavioral standards. You are expected to be patient, kind, rational, emotionally stable, and endlessly forgiving. Meanwhile, they allow themselves total freedom to behave however they want. They can be cold, dismissive, verbally abusive, manipulative, or emotionally erratic, and see no issue with it. This double standard is deeply ingrained in how they operate. One of their most toxic patterns is projection. They attribute their own negative traits, feelings, or behaviors onto you. If they are being manipulative, they'll accuse you of manipulation. If they are lying, they'll insist that you can't be trusted. These projections solidify into fixed beliefs, no matter how irrational or unfounded they appear to others. To outsiders, these accusations might seem absurd or clearly inaccurate, but to the narcissist, they are undeniable truths. Though they often operate in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, resentment, and emotional volatility, they refuse to acknowledge your right to feel similar emotions. If you express frustration, sadness, or hurt, they quickly dismiss or ridicule your feelings. Emotional expression from you is seen as weakness, defiance, or manipulation, whereas theirs is always justified. Their tactics of control and emotional dominance are numerous and deeply damaging. They may withhold affection or validation, weaponize silence to punish you, pick apart your every move, mock your values or appearance, and gradually chip away at your confidence. Over time, your self-esteem begins to deteriorate, as their voice drowns out your own. Paradoxically, any reaction you have to their mistreatment is instantly labeled as the real problem. If you cry, raise your voice, ask questions, or try to defend yourself, they immediately twist the narrative to portray you as the aggressor. This reversal allows them to avoid accountability entirely. In their world, nothing they do is ever truly their fault. They're especially adept at generating conflict, sometimes over trivial matters, and then placing the blame for the tension squarely on your shoulders. You may find yourself in constant confusion, wondering how a calm conversation turned into a full-blown argument. When you attempt to address their hurtful behavior or request basic respect and boundaries, they respond with anger, defensiveness, or complete shutdown. Even the simplest, most reasonable expectations you might have from a partner, like honesty, empathy, or consideration, can trigger disproportionate rage. What's even more staggering is how deliberately provocative they can be. They may bring up sensitive topics or push emotional buttons, knowing exactly how you'll respond, and then act outraged when you react in the way they anticipated. It's a setup designed to confirm their narrative that you are unstable or overly emotional. And when you attempt to bring up issues that are bothering you, their reaction is often not just dismissive, but explosively defensive. Your concerns are met with a flood of blame, accusations, and emotional volatility. There is no space for dialogue, resolution, or mutual understanding. Only their pain, their needs, their truth. At the peak of their entitlement lies perhaps their most audacious belief: that you should bear the weight of responsibility not only for your actions but for theirs as well. If they're in a bad mood, it's your fault. If they're underperforming at work, you must be the distraction. If they don't sleep well, you're to blame. If it's raining, somehow that too falls on you. In their mind, your influence over their life is absolute, even to the point of absurdity, and they cling tightly to that idea. Despite these deeply rooted beliefs and behaviors, they are often completely unaware of how toxic and ingrained their patterns have become. They lack the capacity, or the willingness, to examine their role in the emotional damage left behind. Honest self-reflection is simply not part of their emotional vocabulary. So, when they insist that everything is your fault, they do so with genuine conviction. To them, it isn't a lie. It's their reality. In the storyline they've written for themselves, you are just the latest character cast in the role of antagonist. But you are not the first, and you certainly won't be the last. As they move from relationship to relationship, leaving behind confusion, chaos, and emotional wounds, they maintain the same unwavering belief. The problem is always someone else. The cycle is predictable and relentless. The last partner was the issue. Now it's you. And inevitably, the next person will become the new source of blame. They carry this cycle forward with alarming consistency, never stopping to consider that they might be the common thread in all these broken dynamics. In the end, their life becomes a revolving door of fractured relationships and unresolved conflicts, all justified in their mind by one unshakable truth: they are never at fault. The idea that they might need to look inward is so foreign to them that it never even crosses their mind. To acknowledge their role would mean facing uncomfortable truths they are unwilling, or perhaps incapable, of confronting.